So Brock Purdy, I'm trying to think of like a fair comparison for Brock Purdy without underselling him or overselling him. We've heard everything from like Taylor Heineke to Joe Montana. There's got to be a middle ground here. There's got to be a middle ground that most people can agree on. So I have one, and I'm trying not to piss off Niner fans with this one. So I think, this is a starting quarterback who's had a lot of success. I'm going to compare him to Tua. Here, let me make the case. They're in the same system, essentially. Tua had some struggles in the league, but last year he had a really good team around him, and he went on an 9-game heater before he played the Niners, where, God, he had 19 touchdowns, 3 picks, 115 rating, just as hot as any quarterback in the league. But then he played the Niners, and he looked like he was freaking terrified. He looked like he was afraid of getting hurt, never really recovered. And with him, like, the question still remains, like, can you stay healthy? Like, you really are kind of small. Like, are you really the guy in Miami? Or is it the team around you? Like, yeah, like, you can put up big numbers and they can win with you, but, like, are you really the guy? And then I think with Brock, he had 9 games last year. It was great. He was 8-1, like Tua. He had a 111 rating. Like, yeah, he was hot. He put up great numbers. Same questions. Like, can you stay healthy? Can you really overcome your all the reasons that you were the last pick in the draft? Can you really overcome that and become a starting quarterback who stays on the field for 17 games a year? It's like, I don't know. But is calling Tua someone like a right-handed Tua like that big of a pejorative after the season Tua just had? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see enough of Tua to really say it. What we saw, the little bit we saw of him getting ready for the 49ers game.
Oh, that wasn't good. But we never saw Brock against the Niners. And we saw him against the Cowboys and the Eagles, and it wasn't great.
Well, we didn't. Yeah, we saw 6 plays against the Eagles. But, just kind of overall, it was one of those things. I don't know. Tua, I don't think you could call him whoever. Tua would be one. I've seen him compared to not a guy that's playing currently, but the old Vikings quarterback Christian Ponder. I've seen him be compared to
Christian Ponder. Not fair. That's not nice.
Christian Ponder had like a 6-0 start to his career or something like that out in Minnesota.
Although Christian came into the league with a messed up arm, so I don't know. He had a messed up shoulder at Florida State, if I remember correctly. Why do I know that? I don't know.
So I don't. We'll see what. Well, for Purdy, it's all about. Is he able to throw? Is he able to throw at the same level that he was prior to the injury? Because other than that, as long as he hasn't gotten gun shy over one play, I think he can come back and just step right in and do everything that he did before. As long as his arm is healthy and his mindset's correct, I don't see why he can't come in and be just as efficient and move the team just as well as he did last year. And yeah, it's an all-star team.
Sure.
Christian McCaffrey said that. So I think he could get them there. I think the 49ers if the 49ers had gotten past Philadelphia, the 49ers and Chiefs in the Super Bowl would have held the matchup.
I just think it's interesting that like people kind of forgot the reasons that Jimmy Garoppolo got pushed out. Jimmy Garoppolo had great numbers last year. In particular, he won a lot of games. It ultimately wasn't good enough. And the number one reason they said that he couldn't be their starting quarterback is that he wasn't durable enough.
Right.
Wasn't durable enough. And now you got Brock, who is a lot like Jimmy. Neither one pushes the ball more than 25 yards down the field that much. They're mostly 25 yards and in. Brock moves a whole lot better. But he got hurt too. He got hurt in his first start. He got hurt in his 8th start. We do not know if he's the kind of guy who can make it through year after year, the Iron Man that you need to have as a starting quarterback. He could just be a younger, more mobile, cheaper Jimmy in the sense that not durable enough. Trey too. Trey could be a bigger, younger, faster. If Jimmy isn't here because of the durability, then that's the question with Trey. It's the question with Brock. It's the question with Darnold. He's never played 16 games in a year. And until they find that guy, they're in trouble, man. They're always going to be in this limbo.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the quarterback's fault. I don't know.
I think with Garoppolo, it's a couple of things. Part of it was the inability to stay healthy. Part of it was how much are you paying this guy to give you this performance? And when you're paying him, let's just take the injury part out of it. Let's just stick with why are we paying this guy $27 million, $26 million
to be mediocre
to do this when even you look at, because they've said this, having a guy on a cheaper deal helps the rest of the team out. if Brock Purdy can give you Jimmy Garoppolo plus, and you feel like you're a Super Bowl winning team with Jimmy Garoppolo or caliber winning team with Jimmy Garoppolo, you continue to build your roster, and you've got a guy for the next 3 years that's going to be less than $1 million. That's one way of doing it.
I just want to point out though that Jimmy Garoppolo plus was a 107 rating compared to Jimmy's 103. And I know I say a 111 when you add in the playoffs too. So that's something, because Jimmy's quarterback rating tanks in the playoffs.
Well, I think that's the other thing too, is that there was if the 49ers brass is high on him, it's not just because of what he did in the regular season, but the game against Seattle and the game against Dallas. Those were as good of playoff performances as you've seen from a 49ers quarterback since Colin Kaepernick in 2013. So, and I think that plays a part in it as well.
Yeah, but at the same time, we can't overhype that Dallas game. That was 19 points. That was 0 touchdown passes. Like, he didn't, it was a mature game. He managed the game. He didn't lose the game. He didn't make the big mistake that Dak made 3 times. But at the same time, it's not like he lit up a great defense,
No,
he held serve.
No, you're right. But in the playoffs, you don't go back and check out Steve Young's stats in the playoffs. He did there. It's very rare that he lit up defenses in the playoffs. He had some big time throws in those games, but in terms of like lighting them up, like big numbers and those kind of things,
I seem to remember him putting up 6 touchdown passes on the Chargers.
Well, yeah, but the Chargers weren't. The actual Super Bowl in 1994 was beating the Cowboys, right? But I'm talking about just over the course of his career. He had that. Obviously, there's going to be good games for everybody. Brock Purdy had 332 yards against Seattle in the wild card game. But whatever. I'm just saying, in the postseason, it's about managing the game and making the throws when you need to. A couple of them, the throw to Kittle's kind of a lucky one, but he made plays when he needed to make them.
No, he was. I mean, for sure, he was one of the reasons they won. Definitely. I mean, yeah, he was one of the reasons they won. All I'm saying is, he had a hot streak of 9 games. So did Tua. He's gotten injured a couple times. So is Tua. I mean, I like him, but I'm not saying like, well, if it's not him, it's Brock. I have questions about Trey. I got questions about Brock. I mean, I think the Niners want fans to believe that one of the franchise quarterback is somewhere in this quarterback room. What if he's not? What if he's not?
And that'll be
year 7.
interesting to see. Yeah,
because that's the thing. Like, if he's not, and it's year 7, like, Niner fans should be pissed. No matter how good the team is, it feels like you're spinning your wheels here. But the Niners don't want you to think that. It's like, oh, don't worry, we got 3 franchise quarterbacks. Who needs 1 when you could have 3 and pay none of them? Like, really? That's the situation you create? No, really, you have 3 question marks at quarterback. The one constant, the one guy you had that you knew would take you to the playoffs every year is in Vegas. And so now you're in a situation where you don't know that you're going to make the playoffs this year. You can't just assume that. If Brock comes back and is everything he was last year, then sure. But is that going to happen? I mean, when is he coming back? When's his first rep of 11 on 11 is going to be? I'd love to know.
Yeah, no, we'll see. That is.
Yeah.
I mean, the question mark is there. The question mark is definitely there, and that's part of what makes this whole thing. It's wild that it's part of what makes the 49ers quarterback discussion room such a fun discussion to have. But also the fact that both the 2 guys that we've talked about so far are in the top 15 of the odds for winning NFL MVP. What does that say about the 49ers as a whole too? You got 2 quarterbacks on the 49ers that can win the MVP.
Yeah, you have people saying the Niners have like the best offense in the league, the best team in the league, and they're like, okay, well, who's their quarterback? I don't care. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's like, wow, the Niners are turning the NFL on their head. Forget what you thought you knew. It's a quarterback-driven league. Not in Santa Clara. It's like, yeah, I think it is. But hey, maybe Sam Darnold is the guy who takes off. Maybe Trey Lance takes off. Maybe Brock Purdy just flies in a cape and is like, I'm back, guys. Like, I don't know. But I don't know. It just,
of the 3, we've seen Brock Purdy do it. I know it's a short sample size.
We've
seen him do it, right?
We haven't
seen it from Lance yet, but Lance has only got 4 starts, but only 3.25 games or whatever, roughly. And then you've got Sam Darnold, who has not done it in San Francisco and has done it in very sporadic glimpses here and there, with a lot of bat around it. So we'll see.
Here's what I would do if I were Kyle. Because again, the minute people think that this quarterback room is 3 lemons, I think you're in trouble. Because it's the most important room, and you can't just fumble this room like year after year after year. So what he should do is, honestly, don't play Brock this year. Say Brock's our franchise quarterback. We love Brock. He's just not ready. So we're going to play Trey and see what you got. And if it doesn't work out with Trey or with Darnold, you can always say, man, Brock's coming back next year. Don't relax, everyone. It was a down year. But if you bring Brock back and he doesn't have an offseason and he goes out and plays and he's not good, well, you don't have that ace up your sleeve anymore. You don't have you could go through all three guys this year. All of them could struggle and you're like, damn, I'm exposed. This quarterback room isn't really what I was billing it to be. Just keep Brock, the hope of Brock, the fantasy of Brock. Hold that till 2024, unless that's what I would do.
That sounds a lot like the discussion with Trey Lance in 2021, where you just hold them back because if he goes out there and
that's what they did. Bad on you. That's exactly what they did in 2021. Don't worry about Jimmy because Trey's coming. Yes, don't worry about Trey and Sam because Brock's coming next year.
Right. Yes.
That's 4D chess. I don't care.